Hi, I'm Carol Watson, and I am the Chief Thriver at Thrive.com. And I want to welcome you all to another episode of our Thrive Talks. We're very excited to have a guest with us and to kind of kick us off for those of you that have never experienced a Thrive Talk. It's really an intimate conversation and a chat. And so we really like for you to participate by asking any questions over the next week. We have our chat section, so anything that you've been dying to know from our guests, please do give us some feedback. We'd love to hear what you are thinking about. Thank you again, of course, to Microsoft for being a sponsor. So first of all, thank you, Anllelic, for coming and participating.
Thank you for having me, Carol, and hello to everybody who joined.
Anllelic Lozada has had a really incredible journey from being a corporate marketing executive to now a professional and personal marketing coach. Tell us about what that role looks like now. Then we can get into how you got there.
Thank you, Carol. Again, thank you for having me. I think it's so amazing that you have developed this platform, Thrive, the only platform for multicultural executives and college students to really hone in on their skills, to really thrive in the workplace. So thank you for providing this platform for us and for everybody who's taking advantage of these valuable tools. So going through that, this is a perfect platform for me. And I'm going to go through the story because just like you said, I had a transition. I had a transition after 10 plus years as a great career as a marketing executive for big brands. The cliche story, like I had something was missing. I had a great job, great team, great brands, fun environment, but somehow I wasn't completely fulfilled. It wasn't the money, it wasn't the massages on Mondays and the yoga on Tuesdays. And believe me, yes, and believe me, I try to be grateful, to feel grateful every day, because sometimes you lose track of that. You're like, oh, you're concentrating on what I want or the next thing, and then you don't really enjoy the moment. So at the beginning, I knew I wasn't in the right place. I'm talking about my last corporate job. But then I decided, I'm not going to run away. There's a reason why I'm here in this stage, and I'm just going to take advantage of it and let it to life to tell me when is the right time to move on.
Absolutely.
So that was my last corporate job, and that right time came almost 3 years later. So I would say that I was happily unfulfilled for almost 3 years.
Oh, that's a whole nother session to understand how you handled those 3 years.
Yes, a lot of and auto therapy and auto coaching. Yes. So, but I always had this inclination, always. It wasn't like I was one day in the shower and whoop, I just decided I was going to do this. I knew I wanted to do this. I discovered it actually 5 years ago, and that's another Thrive Talk in Charlie, because I tried doing this 5 years ago. But timing is everything, and I decided if I wanted to help people with their careers, I need to help myself first.
Absolutely.
So the time came now. But I always had this thing that even with my coworkers, I enjoyed so much listening to their wants, their dreams, their challenges. I enjoyed much more listening to that than really talking about marketing or business. So I was always the friends who would send resumes over. We would do mock interviews. I'm a self-help junkie. So all through my life, always when we're looking to do that extra change, we don't have to look so far. We have to look inside, and look, sometimes it's not as clear, of course, but we have some messages. See what you enjoy doing in college when you were not getting paid, right?
Absolutely.
Maybe go as far as back in high school. What people will go to you for, maybe you didn't get paid for, but those are the innate talents or your inner passions that shine through, and we should start. That's a good starting point. So I always knew I wanted to do something with the professional, with the executive directly. So the opportunity came last year to really jump and do this and try it out one more time. So that path led me to what I'm doing now, and I'm a personal marketing coach. And what that means is that I help professionals develop and identify their personal brand so they can transform their career or their business. So I do that by applying marketing strategies along with professional development.
Mhm.
And one of my passions is training. And I also believe in the power of coaching, which is asking questions and really um, guiding them.
bringing
So
out the best of who they are.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I do a mix of training, coaching, consulting, and mentoring all at once for my
Fabulous.
clients.
So, what has the experience been for you so far? Tell us about any kind of successes or breakthroughs that you've had with clients. A lot of people are not that familiar with what the coaching experience is. So, how do you describe what they can get from it?
Sure. So coaching, let's start with the word coaching. Coaching we always refer as coaching sports, right? As a football coach, right? We're familiar, all of us are familiar with that term. And let's think about what a coach does for the success of the team. First, has its best interest for the team to find success, right? It's like they have the load on top of them. My team has to perform, but on the other hand, they're not the ones on the field. They're not the one performing, but at the same time, they hold accountability and responsibility. Second, they motivate, right? They guide. They show a path. We have a goal. This is how we're going to get there. So that's exactly what a personal coach does. There's many different types
Very
of
well
coaches.
described. I hope everybody can kind of get that.
If not, ask a question. But yeah, there's many different coaches, different for different issues or different lifestyles. For example, there's a relationship coaching, there's divorce coaching, there's executive coaching, career coaching. So I kind of invented my little niche, which is personal marketing coaching, because of course it's personal, it's you, but obviously I incorporate the marketing and the branding elements because that has been my expertise. So with coaching, you always bring your past experience, your passions into the practice because it's so personal. It's not some you can learn concepts of how to coach, but in the areas that you're helping the other person to coach, that's so personal, and that you have to love it and have it inside.
Yeah. Now that's a great way to describe some of the things that we want to be able to get across with some of the Thrive content moving forward. So I know we talked a little bit about some of the major themes and lessons that you'd like to kind of share moving forward.
Lessons, sure. I will share three lessons. First, most important is that when we're going through a career change or any big change in our lives, we want a new career, we want to open our business, we want to find out what change we need. It is so important to get acquainted with yourself.
Why is that?
Because when we're looking outside, we may not find all the answers and all the right path to go because we have so many options. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes, we know we want something, we want to change, but there's so many different paths.
Yes, I talk to so many people that have so many things that they're interested in, especially people in the creative fields. They have so many different interests. It becomes a little overwhelming.
Yes.
What to do, where the best path would be to use all of those talents.
Exactly. And then we're in the information age, so that's good, of course, right? But some things can be bad because so much information, it can be overwhelming. You go to Barnes and Noble, you have all of this career section, you go online, there's different websites, and your family tell you one thing, your friends tell you one thing, then of course you have to also pay the bills.
Yes.
Right? So it's not only, what I love
very
doing.
important.
Yeah, so it has to be it's difficult to decide to make changes. That's why people will stay unhappily in jobs for a long time, or they're just content. Hey, it's just a job. I'm not supposed to love it as long as I have a paycheck. Many people think that way.
Absolutely.
So that's why we have to go inside where there's calmness, where there's not too busy. We make a life busy up here, but inside in our soul, there's serenity, there's calmness, there's stillness. And once we connect with that stillness is where we get the ideas, where we get the messages, when we really know and pinpoint what is the right step. That's your GPS.
Creating a GPS. So in future content that we're going to provide, you're going to take people through a process of how to get to that self, and take them through a process of finding their own personal GPS.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I decided to be a coach rather than a consultant.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's what usually the path for a marketer when they want to do something on their own, they start being a consultant. But because I was so interested in working with the individual and going through a transformation of the individual, I would be a fool if I just started providing techniques of how to be visible in LinkedIn, how to networking, how to dress properly, or what your website should say, which all of those I cover, but we have to start with the inside. Yes, what your abilities, what you love doing, what comes naturally to you. And some people have that already figured out, and some people, they already know, they just need to go to the next level, and it's just honing in the skills, really focusing on that has worked, what they really enjoy, finding perhaps delegating things that they don't. So they're another stage. But others that are starting to build their brand, or they're looking for a big change, we have to start with that.
Absolutely. So tell us about some of the other lessons or things that that you're particularly passionate about focusing in on.
Okay, so I told you I was going to share 3.
Yes.
So one is get acquainted with yourself. Second is, and this is a huge one. Huge one.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
I'm ready. I'm bracing myself.
Yes. And that's having your own advisory board.
Yes. I'm a very big fan of that.
Yes.
Very much so.
Having your own advisory board. What that means is making sure that you have the right support group around you.
Why is that so important?
We cannot do it alone. And that's one of the things that happened 5 years ago when I tried it. Is like, I have this great idea. I know marketing. Hey, what can go wrong, right? I'm going to get clients. No, we all know that only having a great idea and having drive is not sufficient. There's a couple of ingredients that need to take place, and we don't know it all unless you have a big investment that you can hire the right people, right? But if you're beginning and doing a change that necessarily doesn't involve building a company, maybe you just want to be more fulfilled in your job, or you just want to get a new job, you need help. You need help. And obviously, the bigger the task, the more help you need, and the bigger your advisory board. But there's some that are by default needed. For example, you always have to have your family. It can be your
But you have to
parents.
pick wisely, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to be all of them. I'm
Right.
telling you, I said this is one person for each group, but obviously family is always there and all of them contributed, but usually we have one family member, it can be even an uncle, it doesn't have to be your dad, but there's always a family member that has your best interest, that understands you.
Yes, the wise one.
Yes, and that tells you the things how there is, that just calling them motivates you. Pinpoint that family member, because obviously they come from a different place. They have known you forever, probably.
Yes.
So they can give a different. They know your parents too.
Absolutely.
So they have an understanding of where you're coming from. Second, friends, a supported friends. That all of our friends have different roles, but depending on what you're going through, you will pinpoint one friend that either went through that too, maybe is going through that now, maybe has an interest, who just understands that side of you. So a friend, a mentor, huge. I'm big in mentors. I'm blessed enough to have a wonderful mentor, and since the beginning of my career. And also, you can hire a professional mentor. One of the great things that I did last year was hire a professional mentor.
Wow.
So I had my own career mentor, which I confide everything that goes through my career, all the steps of my career. But I hired someone who actually had gone through the process of building a coaching
So
business.
for those that may be a little confused, how do you separate the role of a mentor and a coach? What's the difference?
So taking semantics aside, because both one person can follow both roles depending on the situation. But I would say that if you have a mentor, for example, perhaps it's a boss, it can be your dad is a mentor, it will be a friend, maybe a colleague, like someone from church, your pastor is a mentor. So that's someone that organically you develop this relationship. Either you practically ask them, hey, I would like for you to mentor me, or perhaps the other way around. The other person tells you, I would love to mentor you. Or it's just a relationship that develops.
Just happens organically.
Happy organic. And that's someone that listens to you, that you can go for feedback.
So there's a process that you would take people through to identify the areas in their life where they may have a gap that they need the board advisor to fill in some aspect of their life. That's
Exactly.
awesome.
Exactly. And then if you have to hire someone like a mentor or coach, then it's someone who's specifically going to help you for that specific goal.
That's beautiful.
So for my mentor, my goal was I wanted to build my coaching practice and focusing on it being virtual because I wanted that flexibility.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So obviously it sounds great, but how do I do that? How I find clients? Doing online marketing for big brands doesn't translate
Exactly.
for your own one-on-one. So how do I do that? How I find clients? How do I price it? How I charge for it? Right? So this is my mentor. She has never done that kind of business, so she wouldn't be able to show me the how-to.
Sure.
How to do it, right? She has me in yes, cheerleader, yes, do it. But then I need someone to tell me how to do it.
So you need a cheerleader and someone that can kind of give you some tactical direction.
How to do it.
Right.
How to do it. And we have so many books and so many audios that show you how to. But conferences, even workshops, and I love all of those. But sometimes we just need some hand holding.
Yes, someone focused on you.
Yes, and like, okay, this is what you need to do. Okay, this is how you do it. Then next week you're gonna focus on this. Because again, we have so much things to do, and a Facebook marketing plan, and a Twitter, and then you're like, you want to do all of it, and you lose track.
Yes, yes. I know how that is. Yes, very much so. So tell us about the third concept.
Okay, so the third concept is nothing that you haven't heard before. Is the idea that everything takes a process. It's a process, and it's not gonna be easy. You could have your support group, you could have your passion aligned, you can have all the drive, you can hire your mentor, coach, but it's not gonna be an easy path, and nothing that is good for you will be easy. So you will have rough times, especially it's a big change. You feel a little lost at times. Some days you're gonna feel, yes, I'm going and I'm excited. Then some days I feel like trouble. How I even got to this?
Where's the willpower?
Yeah, so just like the gym, right? So we start and we
yes, I know how that is. It's just barely February, and it's a struggle.
Yes, it is. And sometimes you're motivated. You're like, yes, I'm going to the gym, and I got my new shoes, and I'm gonna go. But sometimes you're like, oh my god,
and it's cold out, and it's freezing in the snow. So yeah.
Exactly. So just know that takes a lot of effort, a lot of drive, and just keep pushing. So I'll summarize that step one with that. Just
Awesome.
keep
So,
pushing.
what we want from the Thrive community is to get some feedback on these ideas. We want to see and hear what you want to hear about most next. How do you want, what's most important to you? What do you need right now? So, we really want to make sure that we are responding to what the community is asking for and where the need is most. So, let us know what you think. Give us a priority. Let us know what you want us to tackle first. So before we finish, I wanted to get some perspective on you. I know being a Latina and how that's shaped your career in corporate America and also your practice has been really important to you. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So I always joke that I'm more Latina than a regular Latino. I'm
You're
120.
supersized?
I'm supersized. I'm 120 Puerto Rican. I've looked at my ancestors. No, we're all from Puerto Rico. So the reason I joke with that is that I was born and raised in Puerto Rico. Left to Miami to go to college, and of course, we all know Miami, the melting pot of Latin America,
Absolutely.
which not knowing Spanish is the minority.
Mhm.
Going through international university, FIU, if they even have a Spanish journalism program. And then I started working in Hispanic marketing. That's how I started my career.
Mhm.
So, so yes, my background and my actual practice just started being multicultural, and that's how I continued my career. So all through my career, I've worked with multicultural, starting with Hispanic and then going into African American, Asian, and LGBT, which is very fun.
So, are there any cultural nuances that sometimes can be a barrier or a challenge that you are more able to support clients with, coaching clients with, that you see them kind of running into problems with?
Sure. So I would say yes and yes to your question. Yes, we cannot hide that there can be some challenges. It's how you look at it. I always say that we minorities have to work harder. Someone like me that I consider myself a double minority, a woman. I'm also Latina. I'm also from another country, because there's many Latinas that are no Spanish, but they were born here.
Yeah.
So okay, so I'm three times minority. So I think that you have to try a little harder. Obviously, just moving, not having your family around, learning a new language or just perfecting a language. Sometimes your accent, I have like a thick accent that I have to work on, because even though I'm very fluent in English and understand it and I write it perfectly, but I still have the accent, so I'm conscious about that. So I've taken English as a second language reduction classes, action reduction classes. So I'm aware of that. So yeah, all of these factors obviously contribute.
Yeah.
Obviously, your skills and your ethics speak louder than that. But of course, that's a little package that you have to take in consideration. And there's also the whole cultural thing. Of course, we're blessed here in New York. It's so multicultural. So there's a type of tolerance to that, and it's welcome. But others that are not in cities, I'm sure that they feel it more. They feel, some, I don't like the word racism, but I'm sure that exists still, and they feel that in the workplace. So obviously, who tells me they don't have to work a little harder, they're fooling themselves. We do, we have to. But at the same time, that drive of working harder is that additional drive that maybe someone who doesn't have.
Yes.
They don't have to think that. So they can be a little bit more complacent, but because we have to go through all of these barriers, we, like, part of our package, our DNA is to prove more, is to go beyond, is to dress nicer, so I feel more welcome. Or I don't know, whatever we feel, but just
Yeah.
doing that little extra push. And in terms of branding, that is a differentiator for me. Of course, it's you can use your background to find your niche, right? If you have an expertise, if you're, for example, from Argentina, for example, you can go to companies that have interest in the Argentinian market, right? So if you, I'm Latina, so of course my focus is on helping Latin American executive. Why? And Latin America, from Latin America, that I live there. Why? For me, I know the language, of course, even though I can coach in both, and my website, my branding, all is in both languages. But starting out, I wanted to be a fish on a smaller pond, a bigger fish, smaller pond. So I'm
You
here.
wanted world domination.
Yes, I couldn't. I feel I couldn't compete with so many other
So
coaches
you're using
doing
your
the same
strengths.
thing.
You figured out how to use your strengths
Exactly.
to serve a needed market, for sure.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
I'm here in New York City. I'm Latina, so they can see me as a hero.
Yeah.
Because I'm a Latina. I know the language. I moved from my home country, and I'm here in New York City, so they can look up for me.
Absolutely.
So I
as
use
a
that.
final question, we always ask our guests what it is that they use and what they love to help them thrive. Is there a book, a resource, a habit that you have that you can share with the rest of us?
Sure. So for me, the biggest driver for me has been the lesson number one that I shared before. It's really taking the time to have a relationship with yourself.
Yes.
That's the most important relationship that you will develop.
So is there a habit that you do or something that you practice?
Yes.
To do that?
I have many, and it's always evolving because habits are not easy to form, but I try always to work on them. Having a morning routine, having some, even if it's 5 minutes, to do meditation or scan the Sohar, or read a mantra, anything that injects wisdom and talks to that me, interior me, directly. Second is having a spiritual. That was another um, person in the advisory board, is also having the spiritual guide
Absolutely.
that connects with your
On your
inner
board,
self.
you definitely have
And
to
your
have
board,
that.
yes. So that helps me. I have a spiritual guide that I see every 2 weeks, and it's just like what we consume, and just like kids when they're consuming video games, they're more prone to be more violent. The same thing. So tell me what you're consuming, and I'll tell you who you are. Good books, good TV, following good people online.
So if I tell you about the trashy TV that I use and consume,
Hey, I do that
that
too.
helps me thrive.
I do that too. But the thing is all having a balance.
It's about the balance.
Yes, it's a balance, and just being conscious about it. Like think about it, and this is a little homework for everybody. Make a mental inventory. What goodness you are entering into your mind and your spirit.
Oh, that's a good one, especially as we start out in 2015. Editing out and leaving out the stuff that is not, giving you some peace and bringing in some new things.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you so much, Anllelic. This has been a pleasure.
The pleasure has been mine, Carol.
And I'm looking forward to you partnering with us on some, really kind of learning and some lessons and how to make us even better able to thrive. Enjoy, everyone. And thank you for joining us. Let us know what you think and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.